In today's video, I want to go over one of the most common bodyweight exercises out there, and one I'm sure everyone has done in some way or shape or form in the past, and that's the push-up. Now, a lot of you probably think you know how you're doing, or a lot of you probably think you're doing it right, but chances are, I'm sure more than enough of you are doing it the wrong way, or at least not doing it in a manner that's going to be beneficial for you. So what I want to go over is some of the common mistakes in terms of body positioning and form when doing the push-up exercise, and how we can correct it so we make the exercise actually work for you and you're actually doing it well. So first thing is hand position on the ground. I see a lot of people, they tend to have their hands out in front of their body where it's more in line with their head versus having it back here with the hands in line with the shoulders. So where we want it is the wrists, the elbow, and the shoulder have a straight alignment from up top down to the ground versus angled out in front of the body. When it's out here, it puts a lot of stress through the shoulders as you do the exercise versus back here, putting the stress on the chest, which is actually what we're going for. So if you find you're one of those people who has the hands out here, slide it back where it almost feels like it's behind you. And if it does feel like that, you likely have it in the right spot. Another form mistake is where the head drops down and the hips drop down. It's either one or the other, or oftentimes they're both combined. So we don't want the hips down, we don't want the head down, because all that does is put the body in a less than optimal position, and when you're doing the push-ups, it's going to feel very awkward, and you're really not going to be putting the stress where it needs to be put. So we want to keep that head up, chin slightly tucked, and the hips, instead of hanging down low, we want to bring it up a little bit more into a plank type position. Another common mistake is having the hips too high. And if the hips are too high, again, it puts stress through the shoulders as you're doing the push-up instead of through the chest itself. So when you are in the right position, you want it so there's a straight line from your spine, so head all the way down to your toes, not hips down, not piped up. And we want the hands to be brought back to shoulder level versus way out in front. So from here, as I go down, I can actually feel my chest doing a lot of the work. In terms of the movement itself, sometimes you will see some people flare out their elbows to the side to try to get some stability and do the exercise. Yes, you get your arms doing the work, but that does nothing for your chest. The push-ups, we want the chest to be doing a lot of the work and not the arms itself, which is a number one mistake people make, is thinking this is an arm exercise versus a chest exercise. So elbows, don't allow them to flare out to the side. You want them slightly tucked towards the body. Now that's not to say it's right up against the body. Think of it more as 45 degrees to your body. So not way out here, not too tucked, just a little bit out to the side. Okay. And I mentioned a lot of people tend to treat this as an arm exercise. We want to think of this as a chest exercise. So when I am pushing myself up from the movement, one way to try to get the chest doing the work is pretend you are trying to slide your hands together as you're coming up, almost as if you're doing like a fly type exercise. Slide them together. Now they're not actually sliding, but you want to get into that mindset so that we do get most of the chest working. You also want to take on a bodybuilder mentality where you think about the muscle being used. So it's not just mindlessly go through the motions, do whatever you got to do to get up and down. You want to concentrate on the right spot. Think about the chest. Use that chest to get you up and down, not just the arms. Another thing that people don't tend to think about is using your abs and using your glutes for stability. So when I'm going down and up, I'm not staying loose in this area here, because if I'm loose and I try to get up, now I'm arching my back to get up, and there's not a lot of work being done here. So you want to make sure abs are tightened a little bit more, glutes are squeezed a little more. A common cue I tell people is to pretend you're cracking a nut with your butt. So keep them tight, and you'll actually feel the movement becomes a little bit easier when you're performing it. All right. So if you got any questions, just let me know.